Welcome to the ethanol review. It's been a little while since I've posted a video. We've been very busy at work, lots of drinks to be made, but I carved out a chunk of time to release one. And today we're going to talk about sparkling wine, champagne, because I have a feeling a lot of us don't really understand how it works, and New Year's Eve is right around the bend. So I thought I would show you some different styles of sparkling wine, taste each one, talk about each one, and kind of help you to wrap your head around how this stuff works. Yeah, so let's fucking do it. First and foremost, what is sparkling wine? What are we talking about here? Well, this type of wine originated in the early 1600s in France accidentally. So they were shipping wine around in these containers, and during the trip, things got a little agitated. There was still some sugars left and yeast. Secondary fermentation happened. So fermentation, of course, releases CO2, aka carbonation, but it had nowhere to get out of, so it dissolved into the wine. And so these wine barrels would arrive at these places and it would be carbonated, it would be effervescent. So this was the beginning, because eventually people started to say, wow, this is pretty damn good. You know, what a great alternative to just still wine. So one thing I just want to get through really quickly though is a lot of people think that champagne and sparkling wine are the same thing, right? Like all sparkling wine is champagne. Champagne is actually a very specific type of sparkling wine made in a specific place in France called Champagne, France, or Champagne, or however it's pronounced. So champagne is a type of sparkling wine. The first brand and style we're gonna taste today is something called Cremant. Originally, Cremant was made in Champagne, France, and it was just a less effervescent version of standard champagne. Creamier, so Cremant. But now, basically, it means sparkling wine made in France, not from Champagne, France. And also, again, it tends to be a little less effervescent than champagne. Think bigger bubbles instead of like fine, sharp bubbles. The Cremant we're gonna taste today is from Lucien Albrecht, and it's Cremant Dulces. So this is actually an appellation of control, AOC, this particular Cremant. So there's Cremant de Bourgogne and Noir. So they have different production styles, different grapes they use. This is just a specific type of Cremant. So let's go ahead and taste it. By the way, you should be able to find all of these sparkling wines that I taste today at either Liquor Express or Mary's Grocery. Oh, don't you just love this gigantic champagne flute? I mean, Jesus freaking Christ. It's beautiful. All right, so you can of course see lots of little bubbles in there, but it really is not as active as a lot of champagnes are. If you know what I mean, it's the rate of the bubbles. This is a little slower. It's just a little softer than our buddy champagne. I've got a bit of a bias against this one. We actually carry this by the glass at the bottle, and I use it in one of our really popular cocktails there, the Chambord Float. I think this is a great sparkling wine, and I have had this before plenty of times. The other ones I haven't, so that'll be a little bit of a new territory. But I can tell you right now, this is delicious. It's just a bit creamier than champagne is. Softer, nice, kind of pillowy carbonation. Lots of kind of vanilla and lemon curd, like pear and apple. It tastes kind of like a Pinot Gris, a good Pinot Gris, but just with some lift to it, with some zing. Really good, great creamy quality. I love that quality. And wine, well actually in a lot of different alcohols. It's delicious. This is really good stuff. This would be a treat to pop for New Year's Eve. Really, it really would. Next up, we've got an American take on traditional champagne. So you really would just call this sparkling wine, but it's done by Gloria Ferrer. That's out of Carneros in California. I believe they're using the same grapes as champagne, and of course, method champenois, which is basically the very old methodology of creating sparkling wine that was done in Champagne, France. These guys are using Chardonnay grape and Pinot Noir grape, so Blanc de Noir, so Chardonnay in this case, and Pinot Noir to make their champagne. So I've never had this brand. I'm curious to see how it's gonna be. California's take on traditional champagne, essentially. Somebody needs to clean that up. I don't have any assistants, it's gonna be me. Ooh, that was loud. I would be chastised if this was in the restaurant. One thing I'm noticing right off the bat, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but the color is a little pinker. So maybe they left the Pinot Noir grape, the skin in contact with the juice for a little longer, because there is a hue there. There is a slightly pink color. The bubbles, definitely moving a little faster, a little more intensely than the Cremant we just tried. So I'm gonna expect higher effervescence, which since it's done in a method very similar to champagne accordingly, or not accordingly, what the fuck is the word? Apparently, idiot. It should be highly carbonated. There's some yeasty notes to this. Yeasty as an adjective, oof. If you've ever smelled fermenting beer or a dredge of yeast, sludge, this is kind of what it reminds me of, which is not a bad thing. Definitely some vanilla. Kind of, yeah, characteristics of oak are in here. Ooh, well, that's really good. That's this is very delicate. This, as opposed to the Cremant, which I do love the Cremant, this actually had a change in character. There was more than just one long stage, right? Like, so this started off with initial palate, and then there was a shift, which is great. It indicates a level of complexity. Very approachable. Wow, really, really good. Off dry, it's not bone dry. There's a little bit of residual sugar, a little bit, but it's wonderfully balanced and has a lot of character. I mean, really fantastic. Nice zesty character, but there's some kind of cream undertone that really supports that lifting from the citrus character. If any of that fucking makes sense. This is good. This is really quite good. God damn. I'm gonna have 4 open bottles of champagne. I'm sorry. Look at me. 4 open bottles of sparkling wines. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't have any corks to seal them. Am I gonna drink 4 bottles of fucking sparkling wine tonight? Maybe. Hopefully not. On to the next one. So far we've tasted a Cremant, an American take on champagne, so I would just call it sparkling wine. And now we're gonna taste something called Cava. Cava is Spain's take on champagne. This is Segura Viudas is the name. Pretty dope bottle. You could definitely bludgeon someone to death with this very easily. Start off 2020 with a murder. Yeah, so Cava, Spain's take on champagne. Another sparkling wine. Generally, Cava is very affordable. Champagne tends to be the most expensive, and then all the other categories, I don't want to say under it, alongside it, tend to be much more affordable, especially Cava. There are deals to be had with Cava. and that's Cava. This is a heavy bottle. Oh boy! I was eager to get out of there. There's a lot of carbonation on this. Oof. Let me clean this spill up real quick. I don't want to fuck up the wood. Pause. Unpause. So, I expect this is going to be the most effervescent yet. As you can tell, it was really eager to get out of that bottle, which indicates a high level of effervescence, usually. Looking at this, the color is similar to the Cremant. It doesn't have that pinkish hue, so I suspect they're probably using white grapes predominantly in this. I'm not really sure. Or they're using red and just pulling the juice off the skin really quickly. This is kind of that like pale gold color, kind of straw color. I just realized that when I put it off the screen like that, you can't see it. Yeah, that's good. So let's go and taste this Cava. Okay. The nose is a little sharp. I actually can detect a little bit of booze in it, just a smidge. All right, so this falls a little flat for me. Maybe they put too much money into the bottle and not enough into the juice itself, but this is kind of boring, very one-dimensional, highly effervescent, very clean. There's, you know, it goes down, but it kind of makes me think of like a sparkling vodka mixed with, the light just changed? Like a sparkling vodka mixed with a bit of white wine. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting, which of course is probably not what they're doing here. I'm not feeling this one. Shit, man. Pretty dry. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of basic. It's not like offensive, but I suspect what you're going to have to pay for this, which I'll give the prices at the end, won't justify the actual taste of it. Even though the bottle itself is really cool looking. You can make like a lamp out of it or something. But the actual juice inside isn't very good. On to the last sparkling wine. This one is pretty damn unique. It's a Cremant, like we talked about earlier, so sparkling wine made in France, but not champagne. A Cremant de Bordeaux, so it's from Bordeaux, the Bordeaux region of France, but it's a Brut rosé. Right, so if you're unfamiliar with a rosé, imagine you've got these red wine grapes and you only briefly steep the juice with the skins, which gives the color. And then you get kind of a pinkish hue. So that's kind of what rosé is. This is the sparkling version of that. Sparkling rosé, Brut rosé, but from France. And the brand is Calvet. Calvet, not exactly sure. But let's taste this. Usually from sparkling rosé, which this is not to be mistaken with some of the cheap American versions that are often sweet. These from France are usually dry, but I expect the fruit to be different than the previous three altogether. I'm expecting more like berries and strawberries, raspberries. I mean, it kind of depends on the producer. I love a good sparkling rosé. I really do. Especially, generally speaking, Cremant. Pretty bottle. Pretty wine. Big fucking champagne flute. Alright, so, you know, actually kind of looks like the, this guy. This was a little less pink than this, but the color's kind of similar. I want to say that this one is made from Malbec. Oh, what the fuck is it? Malbec and Merlot, I believe, is what it is, or the grapes, I think. Don't fact check me on that. Gorgeous nose. Like I said, lots of red fruit here. Very reminiscent of dried strawberries. It's super good. It tastes like a dry rosé, like a good French dry rosé, just effervescent. Really gorgeous. Doesn't have that shift in character, that extra level of complexity like the California one, I'm bringing this out again, did, but it's perfectly delicious. I really, really do enjoy this a lot. This is the one I could probably drink the most of in one sitting. If that, adds any value to you. Yes, lots of berries. Makes me think of like a sangria almost, like a pale sangria. Pretty dry, pretty dang dry, which is good. The effervescence is a little lower, Cremant, right? So this is probably the lowest amount of effervescence of the 4 I've tried. Which, I mean, there's barely any bubbles coming at all. I mean, there's some, but there's very little. So I bet if we were to look at the PSIs in here, it would be the lowest of the bunch. But it's just really good. This is like very refreshing approach to a sparkling wine. That's good. And there we are. Hopefully now you have a better idea of how sparkling wine works. You may have noticed that we didn't actually taste a single champagne tonight. These are all variants on a very similar production process. One thing I wish we could have tasted was a Prosecco, which is the Italian version of champagne, sparkling wine, but I didn't have one available. By the way, thank you so much to Alabama Crown and Jeremy, he's such a fucking awesome dude, for sponsoring this episode tonight. Again, if you want any of these bottles, they should be available at Liquor Express or Mary's Grocery. To do a quick recap though, this was the Cava we tasted. What was it? Segura Viudas. They put too much money into the bottle, I think, in the marketing because the juice itself kind of falls flat. Which isn't to say there's lots of wonderful Cava out there. There is plenty of great Cava at great prices. This just wasn't one of them. I was a bit disappointed with this. The Lucien Albrecht Cremant Dulces, very, very good. Like I said, we carry it at the bottle. I use it by the glass and also in one of our most popular cocktails, the Chambord Float. This is good stuff. This is damn good stuff, and it's under $20, I'm pretty sure. This is a good one. This one you should just keep on hand. That's how it performs. And again, that's a Cremant. The Gloria Ferrer, this was probably the winner chicken dinner for me tonight. And this is sparkling wine from California, made in a Champagne France style. This one had the most depth to it. It had change during the sipping process, which other ones didn't really have. So this would be my pick if I were trying to share a nice bottle of sparkling wine with someone on New Year's Eve. This is the one I would get, to be honest. It should be under $20, I believe. And last but not least, the Cremant de Bordeaux Brut Rosé. So sparkling rosé, but still Cremant, so it's from France. This is good as hell. I could pound this all damn day. It just goes down. I mean, it's so good. Dry and lots of nice fruit. This is a great option too. I don't know about for New Year's Eve. It just doesn't feel as traditional because it's sparkling rosé, it's pink. But this is a delicious bottle. I recommend purchasing this. This is under 20 as well. I think it's like 17 or 18. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. It feels good to be back in front of the camera to shoot some fucking alcohol episodes. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. Hope you learned something new. If you want to talk about sparkling wine, leave some comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. I would love to have a little dialogue about our effervescent friends. Take care. Happy New Year.